let it rain just a whole lot more, 'cause I got them deep river blues. Let that rain just drive right on, let the wind just sweep along, 'cause I got them deep river blues. My gal Sal's a good old pal, walks just like a waterfowl when I get them deep river blues. Ain't no one to cry for me, and all the fish they go out on a spree when I get them deep river blues. Give me back my old boat, I'm a-gonna sail her if she'll float, 'cause I got them deep river blues. Going back to Muscle Shoals, times were better back there, I've been told, so I got them deep river blues. Deep River Blues. What a great picking tune this one is. You may have heard Doc Watson do this one, and of course Doc was known as a flat picker, but he was a great finger picker too. When he did this song, he was finger picking, but he used just the thumb and index finger. I mean, a lot of these great old players did that. Doc, Merle Travis, Reverend Gary Davis. They got a lot of music out of the guitar with just a thumb and index finger. Well, in this arrangement, we're going to use the thumb and two fingers. Still don't play like Doc does, of course. But I think using the index and middle finger helps me a lot in getting these notes. Let's start out by looking at the tab. This is a 16-bar song, and we have, I call it part 1, is measures 1 through 8. Part 2 measures 9 through 16. And then we have measures 17, 18, and 19. I call it optional turnaround or ending. So we got a little one of these D7 forms. Kind of walking down as a turnaround, or it can be used as an ending too. Also in the tab, you'll notice we're in standard tuning. This is going to be in the key of E, and the convention that I use, and I think most people use for finger picking tabs, is stems down indicates thumb, stems up indicates the fingers. So that's the way we have it in this tab. All right, let's go through kind of phrase by phrase and see if we can work this thing out. We start out with an E7 chord. Now, here's a way to think about this E7. Just to kind of make sense out of it. Of course, this is not the way you're going to get into it in the actual song, playing the song. When you play the song, you got to jump right on top of that chord. But think about this chord like this. Start out with just a C chord. If you put your pinky down on the 3rd string, 3rd fret, that makes it a C7. Well, take that C7 and walk him up 2 frets or a whole step, and that's a D7. Walk him up another 2 frets, and that's an E7. So we got this low E on the 6th string, high E on the 1st string. So we've come up 2 whole steps from a C7 to an E7. Now we're going to take the ring finger and the pinky and we're going to move them over to the 1st and the 3rd string. That's still an E7. If you think about what makes up an E7, you got the 1, 3, 5 and the flatted 7. Well, on the 4th string, that's a G sharp. That's the 3, the 3rd note of the E scale. On the 3rd string, that's a D. D is a whole step below E, so that's your flatted 7. 2nd string, that's the E, that's the root. And 1st string, that's a B, that's the 5. So we've got the 1, 3, 5 and the flatted 7. And we've got the open 6th string in standard tuning is an E. So I'm kind of staying away from the 5th string for this chord. So that's a way to think about the E7. Okay, when you play this E7 though, you can't be starting with a C and adding the pinky and walking up and all that. You just jump on top of this chord. And so that's a good practice. If you haven't played this chord before, if it's not familiar, just, take your hand off, put it back on, take it off, put it back on, and play it. Take it off, put it back on, till you get the feel for that chord, because you're going to need to get there pretty quick. Especially you're coming down here from the open position, you want to jump right on top of that chord. So this is not a difficult arrangement, but I think one of the keys is know the chord positions and be able to get to them right away. Now, in measure 2, we go to a diminished chord. This is the way I do this. You could change your hand position and get to this differently. I mean, you could bar at the 5th fret, you could swap your fingers around. But for me, the easiest way, probably the simplest way, is just keep all the fingers on the strings that they're on. Leave the index finger on the 2nd string. Just leave him alone in place. He's kind of your placeholder. And take the other 3 and slide them down a fret. So I've got this. I'm going to move them down 1 fret and then back up. Keeps my hand in position. Index fingers holding everything in place. And of course, if you move down 1 fret, you're flatting that note. So now for the diminished form, we've got the 1 who doesn't change on the 2nd string. We've got the flat 3, flat 5, and we already had a flat 7, so it's double flat 7, okay, like a 6. But it's a double flat 7 for the diminished form. Now, if that's a little bit unusual for you, a little strange, that may seem like your hand is kind of crunched up here a little bit. Try it though, okay? You can make it differently, but try it this way. Just make that E7, slide those fingers down a fret, and go back up. So here's a good practice. Let's do this together. We're going to do 2 pinches on each. We're going to kind of go back and forth. And we want to do this in time. Everything has to happen in time. I mean, once you're used to the chord position. So I'm going to count us in nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slide down, back up, back down, back up. So that's a nice exercise, getting between those two chords. Now, the lick that we're going to do here, I call this with my beginning guitar students the Deep River Blues lick. Okay, it's one of the licks that we practice. Is counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Thumb is going to alternate 6 4 6 4. So this is what it's going to sound like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, now we're going to see if we can incorporate that and the E diminished and go back and forth like this. Let's try this together. And frankly, if you can do this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 with the right picking accent, and you'll notice there's a little swing feel, there's a little syncopation in here too. If you can do this, that's really, I think it's the heart of the song. It's the heart of the feel for this song. So, let's just try this together real nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again now. One more time. That's measures 1 and 2. That's the E7 to E diminished. Now, after we've done this, look what happens in measure 3. We've got so what's happening there? We're still in this chord form for the E7. We're going to pinch first and sixth strings, and as we take our hand off, we're going to hit that open first string. Going to give us a little bit of time to get that hand from up here down here. Just throw a bar over the first 3 strings with your index finger at the 3rd fret. Sloppy bar is plenty good. Just get it on there, and then we're going to pinch and slide. Da da da. And hit the open 2nd string. And then throw a bar on the 2nd string. And now we're pinching 2nd and 4th. So we've got this thing. Da 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 da. Play that over and over a few times. Pinch and slide, 1st and 3rd strings. And then pinch open. Drop that bar on the 2nd fret. All right. So if we put that together with the first few measures, and we come into this little A7 form. Da da da. So we got on measure 4. And again, that's the same move that we did in measure 3. So we've got A7, da 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 da. Try that one with me a few times. So we're just kind of getting the feel for the swing, the syncopation, and the chord forms themselves. So we're going to play measure 4. Let's just see if we can wrap him around a few times. Notice I'm making this A7 chord. I just kind of noticed this myself. You could, and maybe technically would be correct to use the middle finger. But for me, I use the ring finger right there on the first string a lot. So whatever works for you. The bar is laid across the 2nd fret, first 4 strings. So we've got this. And when I come off those strings after the A7, I'm leaving my index finger right there because he's going to come back down. All right, let's try this together. Thumb is going to alternate. 5/4, 5/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and now we're going to put down just a regular E chord. Now, thumb is going to alternate 6/4 again. So, what happens here? Pinky comes on 2nd string, 2nd fret. And that open 6th string is the beat 1 of measure 6. Now, what comes next probably for most people is going to be like the trickiest part of this whole thing. But I'm telling you, once you get the feel for the hand movement here, it's not going to be that difficult. We're holding an E, and we're right now in measure 5, say. To get around here and hit the right notes and to make your hand move quick enough, I think what I'm doing here is open 6th string. Use your ring finger on the 4th fret of the 6th string. That leaves your index finger just right over that 1st string, 3rd fret. So, I'm hitting that 5th string, 1st fret. I'm actually using my index finger, and I'm going to swap out for a B7 chord, just because I'm familiar with that form. I'm a little more accurate, I think, with the index finger coming up here. So you can try just that bass walk. And when you get to that 5th string, 2nd fret, you're making the standard B7 form. So it's kind of like we're walking up in the bass, walking down in the treble. Measure 6. So in the treble part, we got, in the bass, we've got, so when you combine the two, you've got, now in this case, in the B7, I'm moving the ring finger, moving the middle finger from the 5th string to the 6th string. This would be called a double alternating bass. Instead of just 5/4, 5/4, I'm going to go 5/4, 6/4. Again, if that's a little bit new for you, let's try that together. Hold a B7, and we're going to go. So I just want to hear this. And if I were to play it just as it's written, it would be. Could you do this differently? You could simplify it a little bit. I like the sound of that double alternating bass, picking up that low F sharp there. But you could play. So thumb is just go on 5/4, 5/4. In fact, if you're stumbling on that part a little bit, maybe start that way. And then when you can work it in, that would be just fine to play it that way. Now, we're holding this B7 in measure 8. Take that pinky and just move him up a fret. Move him over to the second string. So. So thumb is going 5/4, 5/4 here. Not 5/4, 6/4, but 5/4, 5/4. And the pinky picks up this da 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 da. And that's measure 8. That's the end of part 1. Part 2, starting in measure 9, is very similar, but we change it a little bit just for some accent and also to kind of go along with the melody of the song. Start out the same way. 10. So measures 9, 10, and 11 are the same. Now, this is just a tiny bit different in measure 12. Da 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 da. That's the first beat of measure 13. Da 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 da. In fact, I'm pitching 1 and 6 there. So the words at that point, we've got sweep along coast. So we've got da 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 da. Little different sound, little different feel. Da 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 da. Now, how does this work? We're holding an E chord. We're going to open up that third string. So measure 15. Nice lick. Again, if this is new to you, you can use this lick in a lot of different ways in different songs. But in this one, we're hammering on. We're hammering onto the beat, beat 3. We hit that open third string on the end of beat 2, and then we hammer on beat 3 as we hit the open 6th string. So this is going to be counted 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again now. One more time. Sorry, one more time. And again. One more time. Deep River Blues. Deep River Blues. So I'm starting in measure 14. Let's do that together too. 1, 2, with a B7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Deep river blue, deep river blue. All right, so those are the licks involved and a little bit about the timing. So you can see this is a fun song. You can do all kinds of things with the timing. One other thing at the end here is if you make a D7, standard D7, and you move him up to the 3rd fret, well, I've gone up a whole step from D7, and so this form really now is at E7. And this is the way it is with turnarounds in blues, 12-bar blues or whatever. You're walking from the root to the root. So it's da, move him down, da, da, da. And then end with the E7, putting the pinky on. So we've got this da, 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 da. E7. One more time. Da, 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 da. All right, so that's a way to end the song.